I have dyed my hair this afternoon 我咧今日晏晝染咗頭髮啦 so this is blue black 咁呢個係藍黑色啦咁樣 I don't know if you can see the blue in it 我唔知道你睇唔睇到個藍色咧 but I'm very happy with it 咁我就超開心啦染咗頭髮啦咁Yay, so we're ready to read today about the plague of 1894. 咁我哋就準備咧讀呢一個1894年嘅鼠疫嘅部分啦。I remember like I was in the medical museum. 我喺醫學博物館嘅時候咧，我有睇過呢個歷史啦。So I've read about like and seen all this display about the plague. 咁就係啦，咁就睇到個展覽啦。咁Very interesting and fascinating 係超好睇嘅，如果大家冇去過呢個博物館咧，要去下啦。Nothing much happened today. It's just a quiet Monday. 今日冇乜特別發生啦。係一個平靜嘅星期一啦。It's public holiday here. 咁喺呢度咧就係公眾假期啦。咁 anyway doesn't concern me because like I'm taking a break from my Spanish school for 2 weeks. 咁但係都冇所謂嘅，因為咧我基本上就會放自己2個禮拜假，唔上呢個西班牙文堂啦。I'm so happy, I'm so excited about it 咁我係超開心嘅，咁 so I'm just kind of like chilling and actually reviewing on my own 咁我就其實係純粹都係 hea 下啦，同埋都自己温下啲即係唔熟嘅文法啊，同埋即係啦要將學咗嘅嘢再即係重新温一次啦，咁確保我呢個根基打得紮實啦，咁樣樣。Yeah, so I did some other translation this morning, which is not a job, which is kind of like a free stuff, helping out the community. 咁今朝早都做咗啲翻譯啦，咁就冇錢收嘅，呢個係都係服務下呢個一人一故事嘅國際社群啦，咁樣樣。So and I cleared up the memory of my phone because like I have been taking so many photos and video footages that it ran out of memory. 咁我就清咗我電話啲相同埋片啦。咁因為之前拍咗好多，咁所以就冇晒位啦，已經 iCloud 都冇位啦咁樣樣。So I do plan to edit a few videos this week. 咁我都係有計劃係呢個禮拜會剪啲片嘅咁樣。So hopefully you'll get to see some new videos by the end of this week. 咁希望呢個禮拜完嘅時候，大家就會見到我有新片啦咁樣樣。Anyway, so let's get to reading. 咁我哋正式開始。Read to Resist, Day 241. 當閱讀也是抗爭，第241日。A Concise History of Hong Kong by John Mark Carroll. 香港簡史，從殖民地至特別行政區，著者高馬可，譯者林立偉。The Plague of 1894. In May 1894, Hong Kong was stricken with bubonic plague believed to have originated in Canton, where some 100,000 people died. The known death toll in the colony over the next 5 months was more than 2,500, mainly among the Chinese lower classes. Governor William Robinson reported on May 17th that the plague was entirely confined to the poorer classes of Chinese. The colonial government responded by conducting house-to-house searches for infected people and quarantining victims on the board the Hyaya, a hospital ship supervised by European doctors. These plague measures met with great resistance from much of the Chinese community. Many Chinese distrusted Western medicine, with its emphasis on disinfection and surgery. Resenting house-to-house searches by male inspectors, which they considered a violation of women's privacy, some residents hid their sick relatives from the inspectors. Approximately 80,000 people left Hong Kong during the epidemic. All sorts of rumors spread. Doctors were cutting open pregnant women and gouging out their babies' eyes to make medicine. the government was planning to select children from local schools and surgically remove their livers to obtain bile, the only known cure, and to send any child with the slightest pimple or boil to the Hyaya. Placards in Canton warned people against going to Hong Kong, where Western doctors were allegedly cutting up Chinese women and children. The colonial government issued its own proclamations, warning inhabitants not to believe such wild and baseless rumors. The Tonghua Hospital Committee was divided. Some committee members resisted the government's plague measures, others openly supported the government and criticized the Chinese for not complying. 1894年鼠疫大流行。1894年5月，香港爆發鼠疫，源頭相信是來自廣東，當地已有10多萬人病死。在往後的5個月，香港染病死亡人數超過2500人，主要是低下階層華人。港督威廉羅便臣 （William Robinson） 在5月17日的報告中說，疫症完全局限在較貧窮的華人階層。殖民地政府的應對措施是挨家挨戶搜尋病人，然後送往歐籍醫生監督的醫療船海之家號 Hyaya 隔離。這些防疫措施遭到大多數華人抵抗，許多華人不信任強調消毒和手術的西醫。有些居民對由男性檢查人員進行逐戶搜查十分反感，認為侵犯婦女私隱，因而匿藏染病親人，不讓檢查人員發現。疫症肆虐期間，約有8萬人離開香港，城中謠言四起，包括醫生剖開孕婦肚子，挖出嬰兒的眼睛製藥；政府計劃從本地學校挑選兒童施手術，摘取他們的肝臟以獲得膽汁，因為膽汁是唯一能治疫症之物。還有謠傳指，兒童只要臉上稍為長了一點青春痘或疥瘡，都會被送到海之家號。廣州有揭帖指香港西醫將華人婦孺開膛破腹，警告百姓不要到香港。殖民地政府發出告示，曉諭居民切勿聽信這種荒誕無稽的謠言。東華醫院董事會意見分歧，有些總理抗拒政府的防疫措施，另一些則公開支持政府，並指責華人不合作。Europeans generally dismiss this resistance to the government's plague measures as xenophobia, superstition, and hostility towards Western medicine. But the situation was considerably more complex. Like most colonial governments, the Hong Kong government had never taken such interventionist role in colonial medicine and public health. Until the mid-1800s, colonial medicine had been concerned mainly with protecting Europeans from the harmful effects of their tropical environments. Only after the bacteriological revolution of the late 1800s was disease associated with contagious persons rather than with unhealthy tropical environments. In response to an 1882 report by Osbert Chadwick, an engineer sent by the British government to examine health and sanitary conditions in Hong Kong, in 1883, the colonial government established the Sanitary Board, which was given the power to inspect and disinfect private homes and to quarantine contagious persons in hospitals. However, the board was unable to carry out most of these measures. It was opposed mainly by landlords and merchants, who worried that measures to reduce overcrowding and improve sanitation would be too expensive, and who often justified their arguments by pointing to the colonial government's historical promise to let the Chinese keep their own customs. 華人對於政府防疫措施的抵抗，在歐籍人眼中是排外心態、迷信和敵視西方醫學的表現。但實情沒有那麼簡單。香港政府和大多數殖民地政府一樣，在殖民地醫療和公共衛生領域，從來沒有採取如此積極干預的角色。在19世紀中期前，殖民地醫務工作的重點是保護歐籍人不受熱帶環境的危害。直至19世紀末的細菌學革命後，人們才知道傳染病是由帶菌者傳染，而非熱帶氣候影響體質所致。工程師查維克 Oxford Chadwick 受英國政府委派到香港調查健康和衛生情況，該局有權進入民宅檢查和消毒，並可強制傳染病人在醫院隔離，但這些措施潔淨局大都無力執行，主要是由於受業主和商人反對，他們擔心減低擁擠環境和改善衛生的措施太過昂貴，還援引殖民地容許華人保存原有風俗的歷史承諾，為自己的做法撐腰。So this is the reading of today. 咁我哋今日就讀到呢度啦。And we begin to see some disgusting Chinese sort of using like Chinese custom again as a disguise to keep their sort of like benefits and gains in keeping places crowded and unhygienic。咁我哋就開始見到啦，又有啲咁嘅撲街中國人就係即係借呢一個所謂中國習俗之名，就係唔去改善呢一個嘅居住環境啊，同埋呢個衞生。And just prove that, you know, like this sort of like how do you say that? Like the root of evilness of a certain ethnic group somehow, sometimes actually outweigh the disadvantages or the evilness of a colonial government. And when they come together, it's kind of like the perfect potion to kill a city。咁就會見到啦，其實即係某一個民族嘅劣根性，其實咧佢嘅壞處同埋佢可以做嘅破壞咧，基本上咧都不亞於咧呢一個嘅撲街殖民地政府所會做到嘅衰嘢啦。咁而當兩者結合嘅時候，簡直就係天下無敵咧，就係令到呢一個嘅城市就係繼續受苦啦咁樣樣。And in a way, like the colonial government that I've always say, you know, like no matter how bad they were， 咁但無論咧當時嘅殖民地政府幾撲街都好啦 ，they actually have done something that were actually good。咁佢哋都事實上係有做到一啲好嘢，係真係有幫到呢個城市，或者係真係都有喺有需要嘅時候係做咗一啲嘢係拯救呢個城市。So it's always like when you're reading history or when you are sort of like looking back, it's always easy to point your finger or blame people, right？ 咁當然啦，閱讀歷史嘅時候，即係睇翻轉頭就永遠都好容易就係即係邊個衰人啊，邊個做錯啊咁樣樣啦。But then at the time, maybe you know when you're experiencing it, then you will have a different feeling。咁當然即係當時即係如果你當年係喺即係現場嘅話，可能你會另一個感受啦，即係咁樣樣。Which like comes to me like just thinking, it just makes me think like how about 50 years later, how about 100 years later when I look back, or if I have the chance to look back, or when people are looking back at what happened to us in Hong Kong right now, what would they say？ 咁即係我就成日都會諗，即係將來嘅人讀歷史讀到我哋而家香港發生嘅事，佢哋又會諗啲乜嘢咧咁？I'm a little bit like feeling melancholy these days. I think it's because of the weather. 咁我呢幾日都有啲即係灰灰地咁啦，我覺得都同個天氣有關。So I can't wait to go back to the sun next week。咁我就超級期待快啲可以離開呢度，就係翻去陽光與海灘嘅地方。So that I would be happier 咁我就會開心啲啦，見到陽光與海灘。But anyway, so this is the reading of today。咁今日就讀到呢度啦，咁我哋聽日再見，拜拜。